Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy BurstCG back here, and today we are back for another Miles Morales video. Now, today we got the new Game Informer interview with Brian Horton, and there was a considerable amount of information we got from that. And today I'm just going to be kind of going over the main points. That way, so you guys can get the concrete information, as well as probably some new things you guys haven't heard. But a lot of this stuff, if you guys want to watch the whole interview, it's on Game Informer's channel. It's very interesting, good to watch either way. So let's hop right into this. So first, I'm gonna just go over most of the story stuff that they did talk about, and they talked about things at different sections. So I kind of just moved stuff around from where they talked about into more main points, right? So first, in the beginning of the game, you're gonna be playing as Miles, obviously, for the whole game. It's 100% Miles. There's no side characters like Peter or MJ or anything like that. So don't worry, it's 100% a Miles game. But Brian brought up this really interesting point about Miles in emotional moments. So you can see from that clip that came out, I believe it was yesterday, where Miles is basically he's on his own. He's got to fight the Rhino, and he tells Rhino to back off, and it summons this new Venom, the bioelectricity Venom blast, and takes full advantage of that during that fight. I'm going to assume that there's going to be another moment similar to that, in some other part early in the game, where you do that maybe with his camouflage as well, unless it's more something that happens when he tried to experiment with what other stuff he can potentially do. But yeah, there's going to be emotional moments that change him throughout the game. Uh, let's just throw it out there right now. Peter's not going to die. There's no plans for him to die this game. I don't know why anybody would think that. But he's going to Sicario with MJ, and he's going to be a photographer there with her while she's reporting. So there's that. And I mean, that thing that came out today with the little text messaging, it's just something to show that they're in Sicario. So take it as that. It's not really meant to be anything else. Peter leaves like little training facilities around the city for Miles to go and find and kind of train his abilities up. I'm gonna assume that might be how you can get the abilities like higher, like more durability with them, long lasting. For example, like the camouflage, maybe you can do some stuff to get the cooldown shorter, or maybe make it last longer. I don't know, but good to know that we have that there. Peter gives Miles his iconic suit before he leaves, and obviously Miles being by himself now, he's got to figure out what it means to be a real hero. So let's move on to the characters. They talk about that a lot of the characters will complement Miles' journey throughout the game. They did come out with Insomniac's been putting out little things on their Instagram and Twitter, so they have this little thing. I'll probably put the images behind it, and it shows characters like Gank, Danica, Haley Cooper, and yeah, I think those are probably going to be some of his friends around the city or people he just generally talks to. Genki's definitely his best friend, and he's going to be the one who actually creates this app that Miles he basically puts it in his suit, and it's an app that allows anybody to basically report any crime or anything around the city, which is why you have easy access to find different missions around the city. Like, for example, the Spider Cat mission, you have easy accessibility to go do that. But yeah, so also they tell us why Rio is actually running for city council, and that's pretty much because like a lot of the people in the city of Harlem, they are resisting Roxxon's presence because they're kind of just making a big, it's like all, it's a second Oscorp, and they don't need that, right? It's taking a lot of the cultural essence of the city away, so naturally people would oppose that. Also, the underground is fighting against Roxxon, but for a very different reason. And Roxxon apparently has this huge new form generator already somewhere in place. Now, of course, Roxxon exists in the universe before the game, obviously, and you could see that if you go to Harlem in Spider-Man PS4. But obviously, they weren't as big of a presence because Oscorp was a major presence. But because Oscorp is pretty much tanking at this point in this game, it makes sense why they would start branding out more, right? They also talk about the Tinkerer a little bit. So they talk about what the Tinkerer's technology is. They call it programmable matter, and it transforms into any shape. So think of it like nanites, but a different name. That's pretty much what I get from it. It's nanites with a different name, and they might explain a little bit more of that during the actual game, but we'll see. It looks very cool though, the colors and everything. And they said they wanted to modernize the character because, as you know, in the comic books, Tinkerer is more of an old guy who makes gadgets and suits and stuff for people, and they pay him for his services, and that's it. But they wanted to put her more in the spotlight, so they didn't really talk about like the gender swap, what that really is about. They just wanted to make the character more modernized and make her more of a leader. So that'll be definitely interesting to see, and I'm really curious what their real intentions are with that new form thing that they took on the bridge. So we'll have to see when we get the game. But let's move on into some of the details that they talked about with the whole game. So first, they did talk about that weather doesn't actually affect the gameplay. So for example, it is snowing in the city at that point. You won't be sliding or slipping or anything like that, but you can actually hear the difference in footsteps. So like if you're walking through snow, you'll hear whatever the footsteps sounds like when you're walking in snow, and vice versa. You can tell the difference, and I'm sure that's where that 3D audio really comes in. They didn't talk much about 3D audio. That is something I think that they either cut out or didn't exactly bring up, but they also did talk a little bit about the haptic feedback and stuff like that, but I'll keep that a little bit for later. I did mention it's already 100% mouse gameplay. Oh, they have licensed music in the game. I don't know which specific licensed music, but we'll get to see a little bit of that, and it sounds like it's going to be really fun to really just swing around or play the game in general with different music. They also have sound collectibles. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I'm thinking similar to the first game, except it's actually something that you can use while you're playing the game. I don't know if it's like I really don't know, but it sounds interesting. Sound collectibles. But let's keep moving on. So all of Manhattan is also in the game. Should be pretty evident by now. I don't think that there's anything new in the city other than more details to different parts, of Manhattan. Obviously, it's around Christmas time, so you'll see a lot more decorations, holiday stuff. But they also said it's very diverse, and you'll see that they're not just celebrating stuff like Christmas. They're also celebrating Kwanzaa, as an example. So very diverse, and just lots of detail and very colorful. They said that they went down to, I believe it was Harlem. Yeah, they said they went down to Harlem, and they did, surveys and stuff and just generally got as best a feel they can to make it more lifelike and as authentic as possible, which is very, very amazing. And as I did mention, it's very diverse, and they said that they had hired consultants to actually ensure that they had complete representation and make it more authentic, which is honestly very, very respectable and very amazing. But let's conclude with some of the PS5 stuff they did talk about. So it's very short. They didn't really spend a lot of time talking about it, but as you know, PS5 will have ray tracing. PS4 will not. They did talk about haptic feedback, which they talked about the bioelectricity when you're using it. So it travels through the actual controller. You can feel the surge, I guess. I'm not sure how that'll work. I'm hearing it a lot, but I don't know how it'll work, how it'll feel. So I'm very excited to feel that for myself. They talk about the web tension, like when you're swinging, and the what is the word called? The resistance. Yeah, the resistance and the tension in the web. You can feel it like with the triggers, and it just sounds so cool. But I cannot wait to actually test it for myself, because even on the remaster, I believe it's going to have those features as well. So we'll see. But they also did talk a little bit about the SSD. There's absolutely no loading screens apparently in this game. At least in the PS5 version, there's no loading screens. They did show that in another clip that was the Spider Cat mission, and it went from straight into that I think it was a warehouse building, and then straight out into the city. No loading screens. And they said they had to be very careful how they designed the missions because they wanted it to be smooth and fast transitions as possible, which is extremely extremely cool. And it just makes it so you're more immersed and you don't have to worry about loading times. Unfortunately, if you're playing on PlayStation, you will have loading screens. That should be pretty evident, but yeah, there are going to be more loading screens. And I think they might have shown one loading screen image before, but I'm not sure. That could have just been a regular screenshot. But anyways, that's pretty much everything compiled down into a little bit of a about 10-minute video. Hopefully you guys got a lot from that. I definitely got a lot from it. I'm very excited to see what else we get shown. Hopefully we get a actual video surrounding web swinging, because I still have some questions on that and I want to see more of the animations. But everything so far looks very, very good. We have about 23 days left before the game launches, and I'm ecstatic right now. I'm ready to play. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what you think. And yeah, peace.